Title: We found our neighbor's house, but everyone inside had vanished. Help this channel grow. Like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe for more stories. This helps us a lot. Thank you. The story begins, at 3:14 a.m. on October 11th, the Miller family ceased to exist. Not just died. They were unmade. And the most terrifying part? If it weren't for a single corrupted cloud backup, we would never have known they were gone at all. This is 214, Willow Creek Drive. To anyone driving by, it was just a house. But for 3 days in October, it became the epicenter of a mystery that defies all logic. A mystery of silence, of missing memories, and a home that became a perfect, empty shell. The incident began not with a scream, but with a whisper of digital failure. David and Sarah Evans returned from a weekend trip to find their home security system acting erratically. The doorbell camera showed a 3-day gap, labeled simply, "File Corruption." Annoyed, David accessed the cloud backup, expecting to see footage of package deliveries. Instead, he found the Miller house. The timestamp was October 11th, 3:12 a.m. The camera, mounted on the Evans garage, had a clear, albeit rain-streaked, view of the Miller's driveway and living room window. The footage was grainy, lit only by the ghostly blue glow of a street lamp. In the living room window, a shadow moved. Then, the interior light of the Miller house flickered, not a power cut, but a rapid, rhythmic strobing, like a camera flash on a slow heartbeat. It lasted precisely 47 seconds. At 3:13 a.m., the light stopped. The house went dark. And at 3:14 a.m., as the clock in the Evans kitchen synchronized on the recording, every single light in the Miller house simultaneously turned on. Every blind snapped up. Every door, both front and back, swung open inward, as if in invitation. No one came out. No one went in. The footage showed the house standing there, wide open and brightly lit, for the next 6 hours, until the sun rose and the automatic timers finally switched the lights off. The doors remained open. When police conducted a welfare check later that day, they found nothing. And everything. The house was immaculate. Floors vacuumed, sinks dry, beds made. Coffee mug sat clean in the drainer. In the daughter Emily's room, a half-finished math worksheet was on the desk, a pencil laid neatly beside it. The family's phones, wallets, and keys were on the kitchen counter. Their car was in the garage. Their dog was curled up on its bed in the living room, alive and well, but eerily placid, barely stirring as officers moved through the rooms. It was a home frozen in a moment of perfect, domestic peace. The only thing missing was the people. There were no signs of a struggle. No forced entry. No evidence of violence. It was as if David, Maria, and 10-year-old Emily Miller had simply evaporated from the space they occupied. The investigation hit a wall of pure silence. Neighbors, when questioned, had no memory of anything unusual. They recalled the Millers fondly, but their memories of that specific night were a blank slate. One neighbor, Mrs. Gable, who suffered from insomnia and often sat by her window, insisted she saw nothing out of the ordinary, despite the open, blazingly lit house being directly in her line of sight. The first crack in the case came from an unexpected source, the town's historical society. An archivist, researching a different topic, found a series of urban legend articles from the 1980s. They referenced a local folktale about the Stillborn subdivision, a failed 1950s housing project called Ravenbrook that was supposedly abandoned before anyone moved in. The planned location for Ravenbrook? The exact patch of land where the Millers subdivision, Willow Creek Estates, was now built. Digging deeper, a pattern emerged from old police blotters and missing person files. In 1988, a farmhouse that once stood on the same land was the site of a similar, though less complete, incident. An elderly couple, the Hargroves, vanished. They were found days later, wandering a state park 50 miles away, disoriented and suffering from severe amnesia. They couldn't remember their own names, but they kept repeating a single, chilling phrase: the lights went out, and the doors opened. Their case was filed as dementia-related. The investigation took a more disturbing turn when a forensic data analyst recovered a second, heavily corrupted file from the Evans cloud server. It was audio, recorded by the Evans outdoor microphone that same night. For the first 45 seconds, there is only the sound of rain and the distant strobing light, which, the audio reveals, emitted a low, subaudible hum. Then, at the 46-second mark, as the lights in the Miller house all snap on, the audio captures a single, clear sound from inside the Miller home. It is not a scream. It is a soft, unified sigh of relief, followed by 3 distinct sets of footsteps, walking calmly out of the house and down the hallway, towards the open front door. The footsteps stop at the threshold. They do not continue onto the porch. They simply stop. As if the people making them stepped out into the night and ceased to be. The official investigation was quietly scaled down, classified as a bizarre missing persons case with no leads. But the lead detective, unable to let it go, used a personal contact to access declassified Cold War-era documents. He found a passing reference to a defunct DARPA-adjacent research program from the 1960s, codenamed Project Loom. Its stated goal was non-invasive urban pacification. Its method, according to the heavily redacted files, involved the use of specific resonant frequencies and light patterns to induce targeted, temporary amnesia, social reset button. Early field tests, conducted on unwitting populations, were noted to have catastrophic, unforeseen ontological effects on a small percentage of test subjects. The project was shuttered in 1972. All equipment was ordered destroyed. The final, haunting piece of the puzzle was delivered anonymously to the detective's home mailbox. It was a single, yellowed photograph from 1954. A group of smiling engineers and officials standing in front of a row of newly built, empty houses, the Ravenbrook models. And there, mounted on a telephone pole in the background, was a strange, dish-like apparatus. The same exact model of device, the detective realized with a cold dread, that was currently installed on a utility pole at the entrance to Willow Creek Estates, labeled by the power company as a neighborhood Wi-Fi relay. The Millers didn't just disappear. They were unmade by a ghost in the machine of their own neighborhood, a forgotten weapon left running on a loop for decades. The strobing light, the subaudible hum, it wasn't an attack. It was a malfunction. A 70-year-old pacification program glitching in the dead of night. The program didn't erase their memories. It erased them from the memory of the world itself. The house, their belongings, even the dog, they were all just background details. The Millers were the target. And the program, finally, after all these years, found its mark. The doors didn't open to let something out. They opened to let the emptiness in. The case remains open. The house at 214 Willow Creek Drive stands empty, unable to be sold due to the legal limbo of its former owners. And sometimes, on rainy nights near 3:14 a.m., neighbors report seeing the interior lights flicker on in a slow, rhythmic pulse. An echo of a machine that no one remembers building, waiting to see. If anyone will notice that it's still on, the lead detective, Mark Rourke, now operates from his garage, a mad scientist's wall of maps, timelines, and red string replacing the official caseboard he was ordered to take down. His suspension for obsession and misuse of resources gave him the freedom to dig deeper. He cross-referenced the Millers case with national missing persons databases, filtering for disappearances with the same perfect emptiness signature, no struggle, personal effects left behind, vehicles present. He found 3. Not in decades, but in the last 18 months. A long-haul trucker in Billington, Ohio, vanished from his immaculate cab at a rest stop. A retired librarian in Sedona, Arizona, disappeared from her spotless apartment. 2 college students in a dorm room at a university in upstate New York, gone, leaving behind steaming mugs of tea. The connections were tenuous until Rourke, using satellite imagery, saw it. In each location, within a 500-meter radius, was a utility pole or a low-rise building fitted with the same model of municipal Wi-Fi relay found in Willow Creek. The company that manufactured them? A defense contractor that had absorbed the assets of the original Project Loom contractors in 1985. The phenomenon wasn't random. It was systematic. A ghost protocol, active and hunting. Rourke's breakthrough came from the audio. The soft, unified sigh from the Miller house. Using audio forensic software, he isolated and cleaned the sound. It wasn't a sigh of relief. It was a sigh of recognition. And layered beneath the three distinct sets of footsteps, his software identified a fourth. Lighter, slower, dragging slightly. The sound of Mrs. Gable, the insomniac neighbor who claimed she saw nothing. Rourke went back to Mrs. Gable's house. This time, he didn't ask about what she saw. He asked about her health. Her son mentioned she'd been diagnosed with early-stage dementia. Her memory's going, he said, little things. She even forgot the Millers lived next door for a moment last week. Called the house empty for years. Rourke's blood ran cold. The program didn't just affect its primary targets. It caused memory loss in proximate individuals. It was cleaning up its own mess. He set up a camera and a high-gain microphone pointed at the Miller house, disguised as a birdhouse on Mrs. Gable's property. 4 weeks, nothing. Then, on a night with the same atmospheric pressure and gentle rain as the original event, his equipment triggered. The footage showed the same strobing light in the Miller house. But this time, Rourke's audio recorder, calibrated for subaudible frequencies, picked up the hum. It was a carrier wave. And modulated onto it was a data stream, a repeating, binary sequence. A friend in signals intelligence decoded it. It wasn't a weapon firing. It was a handshake. A query. The message, translated, was chillingly simple: purge cycle, target acquired. Awaiting confirmation. The confirmation was the lack of an external, all clear, signal from a central server that had ceased to exist decades ago. The machines, left without a master, had entered their fail-safe mode, perpetual, automated search and destroy. Rourke knew he had to act. He compiled his evidence, the pattern of disappearances, the audio analysis, the decoded signal, the corporate paper trail. He sent it to a journalist he trusted. The next day, the journalist's number was disconnected. Her social media was gone. Her byline had been scrubbed from her newspaper's website. The system wasn't just targeting individuals. It was protecting itself. Driven by a final, desperate need for proof, Rourke decided to trigger an event himself. He knew he couldn't stop it, but he could perhaps witness it fully. On a predictably rainy night, he took a powerful signal jammer to the utility pole at the entrance to Willow Creek. His plan was to block the purge signal, to see what would happen. He was too late. As he approached the pole, his own EMF meter spiked. The hum was active. The strobing wasn't coming from the Miller house this time. It was coming from Mrs. Gable's living room window. Through the window, he saw her. She was standing, bathed in the pulsating light, facing the front door. She looked peaceful. As the light reached its peak frequency, her front door swung open. Rourke froze, watching. Mrs. Gable took a step towards the threshold, then another. She was about to cross it, to join the Millers in non-existence. Acting on pure instinct, Rourke slammed his hand onto the signal jammer, activating it at full power. The strobing light in Mrs. Gable's house cut out instantly. The hum vanished. The open door remained, a black rectangle into the night. Mrs. Gable stumbled, clutching her head. She turned, and her eyes met Rourke's across the rain-swept lawn. There was no recognition, no gratitude. Only a profound, soul-crushing confusion. She didn't know him. She didn't know her own house. She didn't know who she was. He hadn't saved her. He had stranded her. He had interrupted the process, leaving a mind scrubbed clean, trapped in a world it no longer recognized. The machine had tried to unmake her, and he had left it half-finished. Rourke is in his garage. He looks haunted, older. He speaks directly to a hidden camera, the footage gritty and low light. It's not a haunted house. It's a haunted network. And it's in your town. It's on your street. That Wi-Fi router, that smart city traffic light, that 5G tower, they're not just connected to the internet. They're connected to a 70-year-old ghost, a machine that forgot its war is over. It's still following orders. It's still looking for targets. And we are all just data points, waiting to be purged. The system is awake. You are just a memory it hasn't decided to delete yet. Share this story, before it's the only thing left of you. If you thought this story was terrifying, wait until you hear what happened in the next one. Subscribe before it drops.